congested, so I'm going to be a little bit of a mouth breather in today's episode. I ordered the brake pads for the Scion. We're going to service the front brakes today. As I told you, the calipers must be sticking. The outside pads are not wore down. The inside pads are wore down. So we're going to replace the pads. We're going to service the sliders and stuff on the brake calipers, and I'll show you guys how to do that. So we got some things done in a couple days. Here's these products, whatever. I'm gonna try to get creative with my videos here, because I haven't ordered anything for this. All in all, I mean, for my first time wrapping, I don't think it's that bad. I mean, I got it on there pretty dang good. I don't want to latch this. I've been having problems with this thing unlatching. Not too, I mean, there is a lot of bubbling and stuff, but I mean, whatever. It was my first time. It looks better than the primer and stuff. And I really think I did decent on the bodywork. I can still see, like right here, there's a crease. That's from my bodywork, not from this. But I mean, all in all, from what that hood looked like, it's awesome. Because we did have a bend here, and this was bowed, and now it's pretty dang good. So happy with that. But right now, we're going to take the Scion out for a rip. We're going to go to Tyrone, which is about a 45-minute drive for me. Go get the brake pads. I could have got them closer, but they didn't have these brake pads were like $11 cheaper, and then with the discount code, I got the pads with the hardware and stuff. It was like $41, which is not bad. It's a longer drive. I just want to get out of the house. I like driving, so I was like, I'll just order them from further away from a place that has them. So that's what I did. And I might eventually order the rear rotors. They keep getting rust built up on them, and the first couple times I brake, you can hear them grinding and stuff. But that's normal. The front ones are holding up pretty good. Look at the shine. It looks pretty good. It did rain last night, so I'm glad I didn't like wipe it down. But yeah, that thing didn't work too bad. Really helps if you bring your car keys out when you go to get in your car. Also, just going to put this out there. If anybody can find me the parts that I need for this, get a hold of me with my email. I've been looking for like parts cars and stuff. The closest ones to me are in states away, about 150 miles or further away. So there's none close to me. No junkyards close to me have them. It just sucks. Let me show you. Well, obviously, you know that bucket. I need this piece right here that comes down around, comes over to here, and then there's a plate that is attached to it in the back. I also have misplaced this mount for over on this side, and that's what the bolts go into that mount the rebar on there. They come up through. Oh, never mind. I just found it. This is why I misplaced it. Look at that! I found my parts! Jeez. Are you serious? I looked everywhere for that. I looked everywhere. So that was a pleasant surprise. I don't need that now. But I do need these brackets. So if anybody can locate these and they are reasonably priced, I can get them from ECS Tuning. It's going to cost me about $190 for both the pieces together. If you can do better than that, ship to me. Hit me up. Otherwise, I'm probably going to have to go through them, because I'm not ordering anything from China right now, because I've learned my lesson. Keys this time. Now, I know what you're thinking. Why are you going out into public when you don't know whether you have this virus or not? I've been very cautious. I've stayed away from areas that had a lot of people, or if they did have a lot of people, I would not go in. I also brought a box of rubber gloves. I plan on buying more if Advance Auto has them, so that I don't get my grubby fingerprints or anything on anything that I touch. Mask, cannot find any, so just trying to, I'm not coughing, I'm not sneezing, so I think I'm okay in that sense. I'm trying my best to, you know, get things done and be precautious at the same time. So hopefully I'm not spreading anything. Now I'm going to do like a kind of like a 0 to 60. I'll kind of be rolling, so it's not quite going to be 0 to 60. All right, we're going to go from like 5 miles per hour. Traction control's on. 60. Pretty quick. Now getting to advanced. I was worried for a second. I thought they were closed. We're gonna strap up. Look at this park job. I'm not parking right next to him. Strap up. I don't want to contaminate nothing. I don't want to contaminate. And I spent an extra 30 some bucks on other things. One thing, if anybody's looking, you go to Advanced Auto, look at this 100 pack of latex gloves. It's not that I don't have enough, but it's always, in this situation, it's good to have those. I got some stuff for the next video we're going to be doing. You'll see that whenever I post it, so stay tuned for that. All right, kiddos, we're home. I got my brake pads. Now these come with new clips and stuff. These have some hardware with them. Nothing for the sliders. I did get some ceramic brake lubricant. This is good to put on the back of your pads, not the fronts. Do not put this on the front of your pads. Put it on the back of your pads. It helps from squealing. I could have went the extra mile and decided to paint my brakes. This is a beater. I was like, maybe down the road if I want to start doing some upgrades to this, maybe I will. This thing is a little rough around the edges, or some dents and some other things. So I mean, it's not perfect by any means. Bag of hardware here, and here are our pads. These are ceramic, the gold series. There's one series above this, the platinum or whatever, but these have like a rubber backing plate. Look like pretty good pads. So we will throw these in. So we're gonna jack this up. Nice thing about these Scions is where the front motor mount is, they have a jacking point. They have a dome. It sticks down for the jack to get on there and lift the whole front end of the car up. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. As you can see from all that rust that was on the old rotor, it filled this chamfer in the brake pad here, so there was nowhere for the dust to escape. That can cause noises. That can also wear your rotor, which, as you can see, my rotor actually looks pretty decent. Let me feel the inside. Feels pretty decent too. The backing plate separated from the inside pad. You can see that's where the piston was pushing on it, and look how wore down. Oh, this was the inside pad. Look how wore down this inside pad is. And then look at the outside pad. And you can see, look, that was all rust. Filled that in right there. I'll show you the difference in pad thickness. This should not happen. They should wear evenly. You shouldn't have, you know, a pad that is thicker than the other one. So that tells me these sliders that are in here, right here, have this rubber boot on them. You need to get this rubber boot dislodged from the pin. Normally you can just pull it, try not to damage it. I might have to get a pick and work on that, because I'm trying not to tear this boot. So give me a second while I work on these.
So there you have it. That thing was stuck solid, and as you can see, water and contamination was getting in past here. I don't know, they didn't have it sealed up good. What we're going to do is clean this pin up on a wire wheel, and as you can see, this pin has a plastic slider. Well, it's a rubber slider, and it's seen better days, but we're going to reuse that. This boot needs to be reinserted into this. We need to clean the slots out inside this bracket, so we're going to go ahead and remove it as well, and get this all cleaned up, get the new pads in. She should be as good as new, and now, see, since the backside was wearing more than the outside, the piston's sticking out further than what it really needs to be braking. It should be pushing against both pads, and it's only applying pressure to the back one for the most part, so because the caliper did not slide. Right now this is all serviced up. I got both the pins inside here. As you can see, that one slides freely, this one slides freely. Got the new hardware on there. That ceramic brake caliper lubricant I'm gonna put that on these sliders where the brake calipers slide into place, just a little bit, and then we're also going to put some on the inside pad that goes against the piston. We're going to put a little bit on the back side of that pad. That helps with squealing and stuff. So let me start throwing this back together, and we'll see what she looks like when we're done. Right now, since I'm putting new brake pads on, there is not going to be enough room for the pads to fit in here. So I need to compress this. I am just going to use a big pair of channel locks from the front to the back here. I need to pop the hood and release the cap. As you can see, it's already going in. So I'm going to loosen the cap. We'll see how much fluid's in there. I think I added fluid back when I got it. So might have to drain a little bit of brake fluid out of this, but that's what happens when you put new pads on. If you're just throwing fluid in it and stuff, most of the time your fluid's low because your pads are wore down, and that fluid level will go back up when you put new pads on. So just like I said, compress this in. Look at where our fluid level's at. Here is the max level right here. It's the whole way up to the neck. It didn't overflow, but I am going to have to drain some of that out because we still have to do this side. So I do have a vacuum pump for bleeding brakes. I'm just going to use that to suck the fluid out of here. Now I got that pneumatic brake bleeder from Harbor Freight, in case anybody's wondering. I took it down below the max level just a little bit because definitely it's going to come up whenever we do this side. If I have to add some afterwards, we'll add some. But there's plenty in there for now. So let me finish this up, and then we will move to the other side. I won't get too much into detail on the other side. I'll show you what is wrong with the other side when I get in there, and see what it looks like here. Now, don't be alarmed when you're done if your caliper is loose. You can see it moving on there. That's just because your sliders are working. When you apply the brakes the first time, don't be alarmed because the pedal probably will go to the floor. That's because it has to pump it up. So some of the fluid that went back to the reservoir is going to come back down and push that piston out, and the piston will come out and take the slack away. So we're going to do the other side, and then I guess we'll take it out for a couple stoppies. Something to look forward to in the future. Front shocks need replaced. They're leaking. It's not too horrible yet, but that's something we'll have to do here in the future. Won't be too bad. Worst part about doing that is then you probably need an alignment afterwards, because it's going to mess with your camber. So yeah, we'll do that eventually. While you have your wheel off, it's a very good time to clean the inside of your wheel. People don't think about that. You clean the face of it. The insides of these were extremely dirty with brake dust. That is the cleanest I can get it. And from looking at it, I'd almost have to say that the barrel of this wheel was painted pink at one time from all the reminiscences of pink paint all over the back. But having the inside of your rim clean like this will keep the outside of your rim cleaner, because that dirt slings out through the front of the rim whenever you run into rain and, you know, getting slush and stuff. It comes out through the front. So now that the inside is clean, it'll keep the outside of the rim a little bit cleaner.
And here you guys thought I was just a big dum-dum. Look at all these tips I'm giving.
Here's the other wheel, and this is what it looked like inside before I cleaned it, just so you have an idea. And here are the brake pads from this side. This is the inside one, and this is the outside one. Do you see the difference there? How much pads left? And yeah, they're pretty wore down. There's not even any taper left on this one because it's so far down. This one has a little bit of taper on the end. So no doubt it would have started squealing here soon, but thank God we got new pads. Alright, so this side was worse than the other side. The top pin was not seized in there, but it was very dry. You see that? It's a little rusty, pretty dry. This one I have not successfully got out yet, so I took the bracket off. I'm going to work on it. I got it messed up a little bit, so I could afford to put new pins in here eventually. Not going to do that right now because I don't have them, and I'm not going back to the auto parts store. So I am going to work on this. When I heat it up, I can get it to spin. I haven't successfully got it to come out yet, so I'm thinking is like the other side, and there's that rubber ring on the inside, and it's probably stuck in there and doesn't want to slide out because there's so much junk in it. So I'm going to heat this up again. I'm going to put the impact on this and spin it for a little while, and to clean some of that junk out of there, and then hopefully it'll come free. Now, no doubt about it, both of these pins should be replaced. I'm going to reuse them for right now. I am going to be ordering new ones. Very pitted. It was very rusty. I got the end gnarled up. The rubber O-ring on this end is disintegrated and missing. This one was so rusty I had to use the grinding wheel on it to get the rust off, and then I cleaned it up, and it's still very pitted. So these are going to work for right now. I have them thoroughly lubricated, but in the very near future, I will be getting new pins. I should be able to order those when they come in. I'll throw them in. It'll be no big deal. Alright, so I'm going to go around and torque the wheels, and then I'll show you where my brake fluid's at now. I'm not going to mess with it. We're just a little bit above the max. I'm going to get in and pump the brakes a couple times, and that'll pump the fluid, well, get the pistons back out against the brakes, and kind of adjust the brakes on how they're supposed to be on the caliper, and then hopefully we'll be about the right level then. As you can see, I backed it up a little bit, hit the brakes a couple times, got them adjusted. Now the level is just above the max mark. So I'm going to leave it right there because these brake pads have to bed in so to match the rotors. So we need to go out and do some braking. You don't want to do constant braking. You don't want to get them really hot. So you just want to go out and do a couple stops, slower stops, a couple faster stops. Don't hold on the brakes for too long. You don't want to get them overheated, but yeah. Oh, I'm glad I cleaned the barrel of those rims. They look a lot better. That's so nice. I'm glad we have no leaks. Like, everything is bone dry in here now after me doing that. The valve cover was definitely had a slow leak. Timing cover didn't, but yeah, we had some good leaks down low, and this thing does not drop any oil at all, so that's pretty good. All right, now time for some test braking. All right, so my pedal feels good now since I did a couple braking tests there. I'm gonna retorque the wheels when I get back. They're just tightened with the gun right now. It's good to run them and then retorque them. Sometimes they can work loose just from the weight of it being on there. Some of them don't get as tight as the other ones. So I have to say, I can already tell a difference. Even though these aren't even bedded yet, I can tell that these are a lot sharper. Like when I brake hard. When I brake easy, it feels about the same. But when I brake hard, it stops. Like right now. Yeah. So they might not even need much bedding since those are newer rotors, but it's moving the camera. They're so sharp. Oh my. So anyway, guys, that's going to be the end of this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Episodes from here, the next couple episodes, I need to do some things just to fill in some space. So I'm going to do some projects. It's going to be a little bit different. I hope you guys stay tuned for that. But if you like this episode, smash that like button. If you dislike this video, let your brakes keep wearing uneven and don't worry about it. And if you haven't yet, go check out my merch on my Teespring page. Consider subscribing, and we'll see you on the next episode.
Unwrapped.